What is going on, you guys? It is your boy Cyrus Obsidian here at Obsidian Games, here to bring you another episode of Local Diaries. So let's dive right in. So we have been counseling with our Punk expert to try and help us build a deck that is unique to us and how we play, to our locals, and how to play Punk just optimally. Because of Battles of Legend Monsters Mayhem, a lot of the entire Punk engine was reprinted, minus a couple cards. But because of that, it has made the deck super cheap. If you're not getting these reprints, but you're getting reprints from maybe the Mega Packs or even like the original Grand Creators, because those are cheap as well. This deck, I think it is super budget for those that are wanting to play a deck that is really great against the meta. The most expensive card in your deck will be the new copy of Punk Rising Scale, which is valued at around $15, $17 last I checked. But enough with that. Let me show you this deck profile because I think we are totally cooking and we're going to take this deck as far as we can. We are still learning it a bit, so we do apologize if we do make some mistakes at locals, or if you see something through the lens cam that we use, please let me know down in the comment section below. And again, let me know what you think of the deck too, because I think this deck has some mad potential in the meta. But let me show you the deck profile. All right, so I am super pumped to play this deck. I think because of Battles of Legend Monsters Mayhem, this deck has become super budget, super cheap for you to pick up. And I have played Punk before, but I will still be learning how to play it as we go along. I played Punk before in a virtual world, so it was a very small Punk engine in virtual world, but this will be even better being pure. To start off with our level 3s, we're playing 3 copies of Yaman, 2 copies of Shirakusai, 1 copy of Wagon, and 1 copy of Madam Spider. I think for your level 3s, this is like the best and most optimal lineup. You can cut Shirakusai down to 1 if you really wanted to, but I think ultimately you definitely need 2 copies of Shirakusai. For our higher level punks, we are playing 3 copies of Rising Scale, and yes, your eyes do not deceive you, that is a Starlight. And huge shout out to the guy at Locals that did pull this from his box and was willing to sell it to me. I needed 2 more and he conveniently pulled 2 more. Of course, one of them was the Starlight, but it's worth it to bling out this deck. It's worth it to play. I mean, not necessarily to bling it, because if we were to bling it, it's a little bit more pricey. Anyways, we play 3 copies of Foxy Tune, 3 copies of Ogre Dance, and 2 copies of Deer Note. So I think this is the correct ratio for your monsters. Foxy Tune being a 1.5 card starter for the deck, Ogre Dance being that 1 card to get you into your 1 card starter, Rising Scale being a free summon, a special summon or an add, and then a Book of Moon. I think that's crazy, to be honest. Rising Scale is so good for the deck. And again, because of Monster Mayhem, this deck was reprinted. As you can see, like a lot of these have the stamp in it. So I mean, Monster Mayhem definitely made this super budget and super cheap. For our spells for Punk, we are playing 1 Jam Extreme Session and 1 Dangerous Gabu. I was put on that I should play the other trap that is a Destruction Trap, but I haven't been able to get my hands on one yet. So we are playing without it. And I'll show you what card you can cut in place of it. But I think playing these is really solid. You don't want to play like any of the other Punk spells. They are okay if you really wanted to play them, but Extreme Session is your best spell for the deck. Being able to draw you, being able to get a free special summon, it's really great. And then Dangerous Gabu is like an imperm with the plus of getting life points, which is, you know, the deck really likes. And then the power spell, we play 3 copies of Emergency Teleport with 1 copy of Nyan Nyan. Since all of our 3s are psychics, you know, E-Tele is pretty much just like the best card for the deck. It is also a 1 card starter for the deck, which is awesome. Nyan Nyan is a tech card because there are opportunities where you summon level 3s, and this can be just another 3 body for either link play, synchro, whatever you might need it for. It is there, which is really awesome. You can also play Psychic Tracker, Psychic Tracer, because those are free extenders as well. I just did not have them, so in their places we are playing hand traps. For our hand traps, we are playing 2 copies of Nibiru, 3 copies of Mulcharmy Fuwalos, just because everyone is playing it, 3 copies of Ash to stop the Fuwalos, 3 copies of Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit because it is also a Psychic Tuner. E-Tele can bring it out, which is really convenient. 3 copies of Droll and Lockbird, and then 1 copy of Callby, 1 copy of Crossout, and 1 copy of Triple Tactics Talent. So the card that you can cut out is definitely the Crossout. We're playing Crossout to hit, pretty much the Droll, because Droll does hurt a little bit. You can play around Droll, which is really cool. It just shuts out some of your plays a little bit, but it's not impossible to play through Droll. Moving on to the extra deck, which again, because of Monster Mayhem, this is pretty cheap. We are playing 1 Yu-Gi-Oh! Punk Rising Carp for our fusion. We are playing 1 Punk Jam Dragon Drive, 2 Yu-Gi-Oh! Punk Amazing Dragon, 1 Jiraishin, the Cursed Thunder God from Alliance Insight. This card is super cracked for the deck because you make it on your turn, you end. Anytime your opponent activates something, you're gaining 300 life points. It is also a destroy face-up monsters your opponent controls or face-up spells and traps they control during their turn, which is really awesome. And it is a quick effect, so gaining life points and being able to nuke their board is awesome. And then 2 copies of Psychic and Punisher. So the 2 copies of Psychic End really should be 1. We don't have Galaxy Eyes Photon Lord, so we are playing a 2nd Psychic End Punisher in its place. It can be anything you want. You can play the 2nd copy Jiraishin, or if you have the Photon Lord, definitely play the Photon Lord. For some rank 8 or Xyzs, we are playing 1 Punk Jam Fever, 138 Hope Harbinger, and then 1 number 30 S38 Titanic Galaxy. So I think this card is insane for the deck because you make Hope Harbinger. Hope Harbinger is your spell card or effect negate, yoinks it. They pass turn, not having getting rid of Hope Harbinger, overlay into Titanic Galaxy. Use Titanic Galaxy to yoink 2 spells or traps they control, and they cannot activate those cards in response to this effect's activation, which is really awesome. And it makes it just a pretty big, beefy Zeus if you really need to, which, speaking of Zeus, we got Typhon and Zeus. And then for some links, we have 1 Almirage, 1 IP, and 1 SP. So I think this is a pretty good extra deck. You can change it however you want, but honestly, I love the tech of the S38 Titanic Galaxy. Will it come up? Probably not, but I think it's funny, and that's what we're here for, is the funny. So any of you Punk players that are out there, if you don't like it, you can definitely change it to something that is a little bit more optimal. And then our side deck is also some more funny shenanigans. We are playing 3 copies of Ghost Sister and Spooky Dogwood with 3 Ghost Spell and Haunted Mansion for some hand traps. Ghost Spell is really good in the meta since there is a lot of recycling from the grave from Raizio Mitsurugi on its own, Orcus being a thing in the meta, Dragon Maid as well. There are a lot of things that Ghost Spell can hit. It still hits Fiendsmith, which is really awesome. Ghost Sister, Spooky Dogwood, since we do play a lot of life points, this is going to help us gain life points back. Just have to, time it pretty well. And then we are playing a small sub-engine of Kashtira. This is 3 copies of Unicorn, 1 Birth, and 2 Raitsoth. I saw someone at locals playing a Kashtira, like this Kashtira engine. I can't remember if it was in his main or side. So we are going to give it a try. I think it's really good because going 2nd, Unicorn can apply some pressure and helping us solidify our boards. They have to make the conscious decision to use their negates on this, or play into me ripping their extra deck. So that's something to consider with especially the volume of hand traps that we also play. Birth is just also really good, being able to just get rid of stuff since there are a lot of power spells in the meta, being able to use Birth to utilize. And then Raitsoth giving that boost, since we do play a lot of different attributes, can also come up. And then last but not least, we are playing 2 copies of Lightning Storm and 1 Duster to just help with back row removal or whatever we might need to get rid of. But yeah, that is our deck profile. Let's head to locals to see how well we can do with Punk.
Okay, so here we are at our locals. We just finished off round 1. We play against Azamina. I don't know. I think it was just Azamina. Sinful Spoils. Yeah. But we go game 1. We go can't remember. Did we go Molcharmi? No, we held Molcharmi. We played a little bit Discipline. The Ogre. He passed on the. After the Ogre, we held Foolos for Deception or Hollowed, but he didn't have anything to use Hollow for. We just straight gassed, went for Psychic End Punisher, killed him for game. We went game 2. We did Molcharmi him when he went Debtors, and we just drew for days. But it still wasn't enough to counter him. He had the right interrupts for me, and it just didn't go our way. So game 3, we sided in the Kashtira engine, and it put in work. Seeing the rate soft search Unicorn to get birth, just to bait out anything. We normaled the Xiamen. Of course, he negates the Xiamen, but we had the Rising Scale anyways, and we were just able to play through it. We set up our Bulbrid Duration, the trap. We had Gabu, we had Dryashin, we had Fever, we had Unicorn. We had the ability to quick sync the Yukio. We had SP Little Knight. We had E-Telly. We were cooking. We had the Birth live. So we were able to take it in there. We just played enough control. We also had Ghost Bell in hand to where we could just use it for a negate. Forgot to draw off of the field spell, but it's okay. We were able just to play with it. And man, chef's kiss on that. So the deck is really good. So far we're 1-0. We still have 4 more rounds though. And there are some tough decks out there. So we'll see how far we can go. We're also trying out the new Yu-Gi-Oh! Neuron experience, being able to jump into tournaments from there, being able to see what seat you're on, report from there. So it's been a pretty interesting experience so far. If you're OTS, your local store is doing that. It is a definite learning curve, especially if you don't have Neuron synced with your Konami ID. Definitely do that before your local event, because it will be a lot easier going into it than having to set it up there, as we saw a lot of people tonight. Thankfully, we're one of those people that's had it set up for a while, so we're good, because one bad experience in losing our Duel Links account, so we wanted to be sure we weren't going to lose that again. So, but that's round 1. We'll see where rounds 2 through 5 go. All right, round 2, we play against White Forest Azamina. So game 1, we were able to go the nuts. We were able to set up we lose a die roll. No, we won die roll. We aren't able to establish a board because we didn't draw into enough hands. Xiamen was our only starter, and so we got negated on the Xiamen. We were able to push past that. We were able to end with Punk Jam Fever, but it wasn't enough. He just OTK'd us straight through. We go game 2. We side in the Kashtira engine. The Kashtira engine put in work. We're able to establish our board. We played through droplets. We played through everything. We were able to go Psychic End Punisher with 200 life points left to his 79, gaining a whopping 77 to swing over his monster that he had at a 2,500 attack. And we were able to take it for 8,700 damage. We go game 3, and I threw this, and I freaking hate it. We had game on board, but the Droll threw me off that he threw at me. He went first. We Fualosed twice. He called by the first one. We chained the second one. We were able to get 1 draw off of it still. So we drew into a nib. We nibbed him. He activated a monster effect on my turn. We triple tacked his stole a token, which was at 5k. So we had a 3,000, 5,000. We summoned Xiamen, searched. We got drolled. We summoned the Rising Carp. And we could have gone Rising Carp to summon, but we forgot to do that. We could have gone into Yukio, bounced his set. Since we would have had 2, we would have bounced 2, and then he wouldn't have anything in response because we had Ghost Bell in hand, and we could have gotten game. But
for round 3,
we threw it. We threw, and I freaking hate myself.
Round 3 are
posted. But that's what we're here for. We are here to learn. So we learn from the mistakes, and we do better next time. This is the first time playing the deck, so I can't be that hard on myself. But this is a great learning opportunity. Look back at your games, your rounds, see what you could have done better, because that's exactly what I'm doing. And it makes you a better duelist, but also talking it through with your opponent. That's something else that you can do. Thankfully, the guys here at Locals are always so friendly. They're always so nice. So it's great to just talk to them and just be like, okay, what could I have done differently? And they give you pointers. Whether those pointers will come up the next time you play them, it's up to you. Whether you remember them, you put them into practice, right? But round 3 was announced, so we're gonna look at Neuron to see who our round 3 is. Oh man, what a round that was. So round 3 we play against Orcus Meknight Azamina. So that was really insane. We win the die roll, we go first. We're able to establish a godly board, and he just could not, or no, he like scooped game 1 so fast because he went Charmy. I had the call by, we had the E-Tellies, we were cooking, yeah. So we win game 2 just based off of that because we were gonna cook. Game 2, he just established a really good board through the hand traps that I had, which was not terrible, but like we just didn't have enough gas to push through his board, which was unfortunate. So he was able to take it. Game 3, we sided in the Kashtira engine. We had 2 E-Tellies, the normal summons Yaman, and yeah, he just imprimed it all ashed.
Before I start round 4, anybody else wanting to drop?
And we just could not, and we could not establish a good board. We ended up IP was Yaman with the Wagyu or Gabu, and it was just a lot of grinding back and forth. We saw the Kashtira engine. We were drawing that hand traps.
Your pairings for round 4 are active in your app and on the TV screen. Pairings for round 4 are posted.
And we were just trying to push, but like we just needed a Yaman, a punk name, and we could have gone comboed off. But nope.
What the hell?
The deck was like, nope.
Dude, we ain't doing stationary tables no more because it just like Frank leaves and it's like, nah, here you go. Here's a stationary table anyway.
And it just
Tristan,
totally
Marco
threw.
Reyes, if you'll come over here to the edge of this table, please.
Totally through the vibe. So yeah, we got clapped. We tried, but we're still learning the deck. So end time and our interruptions too. I think if we had held our nib a little bit longer, it would have been a different outcome. But it is what it is. So on to the next round. So not the best lighting here, but we go round 4, played against Orcus, which I told, or round 4, sorry, we played against Regenesis Kashtira, which is a deck we are very familiar with, obviously. We got swept. Got super polyed 3 times. 3 times. You wouldn't think it would hurt, but it hurts. So yeah, we lost. We ended 1-3. We ended up dropping. We didn't even care to play the last and final round. We're like, yeah, we out. And we ended up talking with someone because the Orcus player. I wanted to look at his list because we're working on one, so that way we can show you guys. And I like his list. It's cooking a bit. And I think we might adjust some of ours to look very similar to the ideas that he had, because I think they are very solid. But as for this video, we're gonna wrap it up here. We ended 1-3 with Punk, which is not what we were hoping for. I think the deck still has a lot of map potential. We just had some pretty bad matchups. Played just against what we did. It just was really unfortunate that that's just what happened. I still think the deck has potential, and we're going to workshop things a bit. Maybe acquire some of those cards like the Psychic Tracers, maybe adjust the extra deck a little bit for some XC3s that could help us push the deck a little bit. We do have some ideas that we could do, but we're going to still lab it and see what happens. But we have a week till Duelist Advance comes out to the locals, since it does come a week before, which we'll be jumping on Vanquish Soul, which makes me really happy. But that's it for this video, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you thought of the deck and what you'd like to see in this channel. Again, I do love hearing from you guys, and just let me know what your thoughts are. We'll pass it over to you.